all those who believe in I+D research and development to continue working on voice recognition systems. It's true that there are very many, but they're very expensive. And for the domestic sector, for the house, that's the way to go. I have 0 seconds left. I've already exhausted my time. So let me be very brief. In the past few years, we have been trying to continue to offer products as we had. And we also focus on offering solutions for consumption product, monitoring use of touch-on devices. That's very cheap to do and is more reliable than voice. Voice is still not the ideal interface we were looking for. We need to be very patient for the system to recognize over and over the user, activating the actions. But there's also touch-on remote controller, qualitative touch-on screen in crystals, and as I said, it's very comfortable. And there's also high-tech to control from a chair, from a table, all of this with a view that gradually, little by little, we are automating elements in our surrounding, the television, the bedroom, the radio. So gradually this is expanding to the rest of the house so that we can have integrated control and a minimum level of independence that sometimes we do not see because we are tied up and we are really constrained. But those people having disability, these functionalities really need that type of action. We are a small company in Spain, in spite of our very American name. We follow development, working and investing on touch-on screens, small touches to activate some elements, and particularly energetic saving devices. This is what we will be focusing on in the year to come. Thank you for your attention, and then I'll leave the floor to my colleague next door, my next speaker.
Muchas gracias, Eduardo.
Thank you, Eduardo. The next speaker is Fernando Martín, General Manager of Domo Elite, and he's going to speak about an open, self-installating domotic device. Self-install, we meant, sorry. Good afternoon. I would also like to take this opportunity, as my colleagues have done, to thank the ONCE Foundation to be here this afternoon. Also Stefan for having organized this roundtable regarding domotics. First and foremost, I'd like to explain what Domo Elite is. It's a Spanish company founded 5 years ago and deriving from a research project. We do have products directly on the market, and the project was born as a need to generate an interface that would be solving the part of user usage in domotics. I have a slight technical handicap because we do not have domotics here, the speaker says. slight connection problem.
Bueno, disculpen esta interrupción.
My apologies for the interruption. At the end of the day, technology depends on human being, and we had unplugged the cable from the power plug. So, as my colleague from Home System was saying, the Multics are now thinking in terms of more focus on users and not necessarily high acquisition power users, but rather users that have an average situation in terms of the Multics. We felt that in order to do that, we needed to develop a number of elements, activators, integrators, and also to think from the interface standpoint and use the product that would be in the market already existing. So we decided to go along those lines, the second line I've just presented, and we generated an interface with a single project target, and that was to control precisely that on the basis of the software installed in any compatible PC. The idea would be to control environment, security, and saving, at the end of the day, quality of life, understanding by home offices and even some apartments. So this is a union between interface, a very simple interface, easy to manage, clear, or laid out in one single screen, so that actions can be fast, and through a number of channel or interfaces we can interact with all of the different elements. On this slide we can see clearly that our idea was not to place a communication standard with all of those devices, but rather to try and keep it compatible when we use all of the devices, or most of them, existing in the market. We're talking about X10, IV, but K and X, and other manufacturers having their own ways to control. Oregon, Deltador, Klein, Easton, etc. So what we do is we make ourselves compatible to all of those elements, thus achieving control over blinds, balconies, opening doors, thermostat, detector, regulators, the whole set of devices that we can install in a domotic home. The software, as you can see on the screen, has on the first screen a lot of important information. We've seen light, blind, temperature control, and a number of cameras that we can install in order to have better visibility. We know that we have this very simple interface that's collapsible, it folds, and also we can see it from television. We don't need to see it from the net side, or you can even see it through a mobile or a touch-on screen. We have one single glow. We have all of the possibilities. We could also do manual control by events, depending on all the items that we have in the agenda. One of our ideas is that the user, the domotic user, should not notice that there is domotics in the home, so he doesn't have to do that when the sun is over there. So a number of different elements will be ensembled together. The hardware part is two modules the two modules we need to talk to the other elements I mentioned. One module is the GSM, to have Domo Elite action controlled through a mobile externally, and the second module, all done communicating via radio with all of the different actors in the system. Thus, with those two modules and any standard interface, it could be a remote control or it could be voice control devices, we have full control of all of our domotic needs. We talk about something simple, but at the same time very powerful. Integrates many elements and is somehow as simple and enter directly in the program to say we want to install a new blind, we want to tell the computer the type of blind, the name of the manufacturer. These ones I've shown is just examples, and now with this blind you can organize a number of things as complex as you wish. You can get the blind up and down with the sunset, with the sun, and a number of different temperatures really high. So not always are we there at 30 degrees. Maybe we are at 50, so it depends whether or not we wish to lower the blind. We check all this, and then the system will work constantly trying to make recalculations to adapt. Now, concerning security, we have the part of connection with a number of alarm systems, preventional and conventional. To insist again, there are some security companies that do such a good job for neck issues. We could have them controlled to alarms. Alarms detect movement, lack of movement. That should be interesting to see what percent is existing in a given moment in time in a house, or to those sensors to reuse them for another set of elements. Innovation, digital video, or even sending or SMS message for a number of elements. The system has already pre-configured different levels of security, total, perimetric, and deactivated, and we can generate different elements as well. With regard to control, as I said, the remote control will be indeed controlling the blinds and everything that is monitoring. And on top of that, the user, through a Skype or through mobile, have different devices